Hey guys, how's it going? It's Flux here and welcome back to Fluxburgh. And as you can see, we got a massive traffic jam here going all the way down the highway and then straight into Flux City. But the odd thing about this, you may notice, is it's actually flowing fairly well going into the city. The problem is this little juncture right here where all the traffic is trying to merge into this single lane. And not only is it a problem that they're all using the same lane, but the way that they merge, the way the traffic works in this game, the way the AI works in this game, they actually will directly cut into traffic and cause both lanes to stop moving. And by doing that, it backs the traffic up way too far because the traffic coming in is way faster than the traffic leaving the traffic jam, of course, because of this little split here. It's happening in the exit as well, as you can see. So really, the big problem here right now is lane utilization. There's really not a lot of lane utilization happening right now, and there's plenty of free lanes that could be used and then merged into later. But for whatever reason, the traffic AI does not work like that. And we do have some mods coming fairly soon here that will actually fix this problem. I think there's going to be some updates too in the actual core game that might fix this. Who knows about that? But as you can see, we're going to go ahead and do a total rework of this highway system. I kind of had this in mind when I started making this highway because the city is just so massive. I knew that really no matter how I design it, it seemed like a pretty good design actually for a highway. And then of course, there's always going to be some kind of unforeseen problems like this where you just really can't see what's going to happen until you get to that point. And right here, you can see it really was just some weird thing where, the traffic AI caused traffic and there really wasn't a way to get around that besides reworking the highway. So I'm going to go back and do that now. We're going to have 3 entrances now to Flux City instead of just 1, or at least in this part we've already built here. And then we'll go back, obviously, and make the highway entrance as well. And then we're going to have some entrances on the other side whenever we continue the city on in the opposite direction. But for now, we're going to have 3 new entrances. We're going to have splitting from multiple directions on the highway, not just from the left. That way we have, or I think it was the right. Actually, I'm not really sure where it was splitting from. But we're going to be basically trying to force the traffic to utilize all the lanes. And then we shouldn't have any merging of traffic to all be getting into one lane for one reason or another, which should definitely alleviate traffic on the highway itself. And then in the city, it wasn't too bad. You may have seen some traffic kind of building up without the traffic manager. Well, I'm going to go back and now have 3 entrances, which should give us some more dispersion with the entering traffic to the city, and then also make a new exit system that has multiple exits from multiple directions, which will utilize lots of tunnels. I know I kind of have like mixed opinions on tunnels in the comments, but I personally really like the idea of having big road networks underground that go underneath the city itself and then come back out again where the highway is. I think it's very clean and neat. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like cable management in a computer. Just really cool to have like tucked away, highways that work underneath the city and then pop out in key locations that make the traffic much better in those areas. And it's not really something you see in the real world a lot, mostly because of obviously well, for one, you can't build highways underneath like skyscrapers. That wouldn't work very well. But, beside for, like the actual physical possibility of that happening, it's just expensive, obviously, and the traffic doesn't work in the same way that it does in this game. There's lots of problems that happen with the traffic AI in the game that don't happen in the real world. Obviously, though, the real world has lots of traffic to begin with. So, anyway, I don't know. I just think this is a cool idea. I think it's going to work really well. You're going to see a pretty big change in the highway by the end of this little time lapse here. But I think it's going to be for the best. We're going to have a really awesome working system, and I'm going to leave lots of space on the highway for more off-ramps, more kind of complex interchange stuff going on for exits to the other side of the city. And then, of course, we're going to have a really awesome airport coming up here in the next 2 episodes. So today's episode, after this little time lapse, we're actually going to do a little bit of just kind of playing around with the city, maybe throwing in some more models, stuff like that, while we just kind of test out this new road system, make sure it's working flawlessly before we go into the actual airport building, because I'm going to say it again, I really don't know how well this is going to work. It's kind of an ongoing process of fine-tuning this highway system, and the more things you put that are dependent on the highway system, the more things that can go wrong, as I'm sure all of you guys know from playing the game so much. So we'll see how it goes. If this next episode goes smoothly and we don't have any traffic problems with this massive city we have going on so far, then we'll move on to the airport and all that fun stuff in the next episode. And I'm going to say I have a ton of new models for the airport. So lots of awesome like terminal things. We're going to do some really cool road networks coming up to it, some cool parking arrays, some metros, bus lines, all that good stuff's going to happen in this big airport. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, that's going to come next episode. So look forward to that. and I'll see you guys in just a minute. Alright, we are back here, and for some reason I'm still getting this weird cargo train glitch where these guys just kind of jump up here into the rail. I don't really know what's happening here. I have no idea why that happens, but it happens like all the time, and I think it's like a bug with the intersection where like both of these try to enter the intersection at the same time, and then they both stop. I don't really know what's going on, but kind of weird. They just despawn anyway after a while, so it's not a big deal, but a little bit annoying. I might have to just go back and change that later on, but welcome back to Fluxburgh. We are here in a new, hopefully relatively traffic-free city. Right now you can see we have some brand new highway systems going on we just built there in that last time lapse. I like them quite a bit, and they definitely leave lots of space for new entrance and exit points and different little interchange sections here. You can see we have like quite a bit of different little entrance points for Flux City over here. We've got this one, which I think is probably by far one of the most efficient. It handles quite a bit of traffic. They all come out and they split off in this direction, they split off in this direction, and they also can go up this way to get into this part of town. So it kind of forces traffic into both of these big avenues, and then also we have this exit point down this way. Of course, we have the original entry point over on this side, and then we have a new one also back here, which will get a lot more use when we have this kind of area filled out back here as well. And all of that seems to be doing a pretty decent job of fixing up all of this stuff over here. You may notice, or you may not notice quite yet, but we do have the traffic manager back again and working now. I believe the compatibility issues are gone. I also finally have the road customizer tool working for me. It's the Traffic Plus mod add-on pack, and with that I'm able to now kind of control a few things here. You may have seen, or you are now seeing, I have these little lane switches that are forcing traffic to not utilize this outer lane over here, which was causing some pretty big problems with merging, where they would all try and like merge straight over into the left lane and cut off a bunch of traffic. You know, things you wouldn't actually do in the real world, but for some reason happen in this game all the time. So I'm using that in quite a bit of different places right now. You can see even still some traffic backing up in some areas, but not too bad. I also went back and for pretty much all of these lanes here, excluding this one actually, of all things that I just decided to show. Basically all these left lanes here I actually banned cargo trucks from using, and by doing that, we force the cargo trucks to use the middle lanes, and the traffic utilizes the left lane, obviously, because that's the lane they're going to use to turn in most of the time. So that was a pretty good decision. I think it worked pretty well. I obviously also changed the speeds on a lot of these things, like this 6 lane to be 100. I also changed it up here on this little 2 lane, which isn't even being used yet, but for the future, we have that as well. And overall, it seems like this is working a lot better. Obviously, with all this stuff, there are some like little weird things happening still, some minor problems I'm hitting, mostly because I, of course, had to disable the traffic manager, which removed a lot of the custom stuff that I did for a lot of these things, including, you know, the spin cycle had to be fixed again, kind of tweaked a little bit. I had a big problem over here where because I disabled the traffic manager, it actually removed or it added traffic lights here and here on a roundabout. So then a roundabout became a traffic light circle, which was just terrible because they were going from traffic light, and just making a huge backup all the way down and then onto the highway. So of course that's going to happen, but I'm trying my best to kind of recover this city after. Basically, it's just kind of a problem with mods, I guess, in general, is whenever you have to remove a mod, it kind of breaks a lot of the systems you were relying on previously, but it seems we got that under control now, and we're slowly moving back towards the positive again. Of course, right now, it's just a matter of zoning a lot of stuff and continuing to build up the city, which I'm not really happy right now with the way this is going. I don't like that all of these are like the exact same building, and that's just because all of these are almost at the 5-star level, which will make them full-sized buildings, which will be awesome, by the way. That'll make them kind of buildings more like these instead of like these, and that's going to happen soon. Right now it's not happening because we don't have any transportation, which will all come in once we have the airport built back here. And I've got a lot of comments about that, people kind of concerned about how that's going to work out. There's actually quite a bit of airports built on peninsulas like this near big cities where they just have the runways facing here and here or something along those lines, which allows the planes to come in from angles over the ocean or over the lake, I guess in this case, to avoid any actual traffic coming over like big buildings like this. So I think if we do it like that, we can make this a pretty realistic looking airport that also kind of fits pretty cool on the end of this peninsula back here. Because you have lots of space, again, to expand the city out in this direction and all through here. So I'm not too worried about that. I think it'll look really cool, but of course I'll make a backup save in case we don't like it in the end. But I think it'll look really awesome when it's done, so I'm not too worried about that. So anyway, with that out of the way, the one thing I want to do real quick, and again, I kind of mentioned it in the beginning here, but I'm going to kind of monitor all of this traffic and make sure we don't have anything bad happening later on. Because for all I know, I disabled some crucial lane that will cause a huge backup. Who knows? It's all kind of still experimental, and I want to make sure this works out before we start building the airport, of course, which will require another little turn-off back here. And I'm probably going to utilize mostly bridges from this point on in this area because you may have, well, you can't really see from here. If I page down there, you can see we've got quite a bit of traffic going underneath in bridges, so because of that, we're going to have to definitely utilize the bridges for this next section, which is the plan all along, of course, to utilize both bridges and underpasses for this whole big traffic section back here, or highway section, to make our road network nice and tightly packed without utilizing too much space. So that'll be pretty cool. But what I want to do is I actually want to use, and this was like a thing that was recommended by all of you guys. Oop, I actually forgot this, didn't I? Yes. Another example of something that didn't get fixed after removing this. Hang on a minute. We don't want to have lights here, or here, or, oops, or here, or here. And also, I'll show you guys how this, this Traffic Plus Plus mod works. We can go ahead and go in here, and we can click on this intersection. We can actually tell this to only go here, which will, it's actually works better than the what do you call it, the traffic manager, because the traffic manager would actually only let you decide if the lane turns right or left, but I can actually tell the lane to stay in this right lane, which is pretty cool. It won't actually follow it for a while because all of these cars that spawned in probably like 5-10 minutes ago, when they spawned way back wherever they were coming over to the university, have a set or preset path, so that'll work eventually. But anyway, we can do things like that just to force all of these intersections to work like they're supposed to. So we'll do that over here as well, from here to here, and then one more time like this. Okay, anyway, so what I want to do, because I got plenty of comments on this, you guys said we should use that, I think it was like Gula's, yeah, here we go, the statue, the hamster statue, and that should be the mascot for Flux University, which I like that a lot, because I think that we need some sort of cool looking mascot, and we need an awesome big bronze statue of one, of course. So we'll put that somewhere. I think it'd be kind of cool to have it like overlooking the campus somewhere, like way up here. Yeah, let's do that, actually. Let's do that. How can we fit that in here, though? It should be somewhere, like, up... Ooh, it should be, like, right here. Like, right behind this... oops, sorry for the seagulls. Hope it's not too loud. I guess we'll find out. Very annoying thing that still they're not going away, even with that mod enabled. I have no idea why. But we'll go ahead and grab our zonable pedestrian road, and we'll put this thing right back here. I'm going to put it back a little bit, though. I want it, like, here. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I only put it, like... Is that about... I can't tell which one lines up best with that little thing. That seems pretty lined up. And then we'll go ahead and use the standard pedestrian path to connect these. Oops. Oh yeah, I got these little cool barriers as well for the airport. That'll be pretty awesome. Oh right, I didn't actually mention this in any episodes, or maybe I did last time, I forgot. But I now do have my entire mod pack available for download. So if you want to use the mods that I'm using, or you want to have a way to find all those mods, you can actually go to the link in the description down below, which will take you to a collection I have on Steam, which lets you do like a big group download of all my assets and mods. And what the heck is happening over here? Hang on a minute. So if you like that kind of stuff and you don't want to have to go and find all these mods yourself, you can do that no problem. I'm going to use the actual path again. I think that's going to make this easier. So yeah, that's available for you guys now, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll connect that like that. We'll do the same thing over here. There we go. Very nice. And then the big old statue right here. Oh, it's not going to be centered, is it? That's actually pretty centered right there, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's about as close as we're going to get anyway, so I'm good with that. I definitely enjoy that. That is interesting. Look, it's kind of like sliding off of it because it's all angled weird. So that's not going to get power for a minute. Okay, good. It's got power now. Awesome. I wonder where all that airport stuff went. Probably in the transportation. Yeah, that's where it's all going to be. Look at all this stuff I got. Lots of fun to play around with this stuff later on. So, cool, cool. Anyway, what I do want to add real quick, I want to have a few trees kind of surrounding the statue here. Do one there. One here. I'm going to slow this down a bit. It's kind of plummeting my frame rate. Yeah, unfortunately, the Traffic++ mod is still, I mean, it's actually pretty well optimized considering what it does, but there's still some FPS problems that can occur from using that, so something to consider, I guess. Let's utilize some of these little flower things. Well, I also got some of these cool little trees now that actually came with, I think it was like an airport. Oh no, it was actually a building that used these that I needed to download, and I actually like them a lot. I wish they wouldn't change size so much though. I'll go ahead and place the wrong size ones over here. Actually, that's kind of cool. Hang on a minute. I want to do that here as well. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna try and make it go like down in size. So that seems kind of cool to me. Yeah, so we'll take a big tall one. Move that out of the way, move that out of the way. There's a nice slightly smaller one. And then slightly smaller. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. That's too big. That's too big. Ooh, there we go. Slightly smaller still. We need some smaller ones for this side as well. I got to delete a lot of trees. Oh my god, so many tall ones. They might not get much smaller than that. Oop, there we go. There's the smallest one. Let's see if we can get that again for this side. Might take a little bit. Ooh, wow, that was easy. Awesome. I think we need one more on this side. That's the same size, so that's good. I think that's, oops. Yeah, I think that's about the smallest size there. And then we'll use a nice smaller one here. Like that. Just kind of make them scale down a bit. There we go. Cool. I like that. I don't know, it just seems like a pretty grand statue for our school. Let me make sure that we get away from these seagulls as soon as possible. I don't know why that mod doesn't work for me. It's kind of annoying though. I wish it did. Ooh, we had a death at our... Uh-oh. Oh, I thought those dogs were like people on stretchers. I was like, wow, is it like a mass accident that happened at our ballpark? There must have been some sort of accident. Okay. Okay, well anyway, back to our highway. So it looks like so far so good on the traffic. That's good to see. Why don't we put in some more of these buildings to kind of finish off what we were working on here. I just want to make sure we have a nice, good, and spacious area to work on the airport. We're not actually going to fill this entire space, obviously, with the airport. In fact, I'm probably going to pack it into the back little crescent area here and then have the parking garages, you know, somewhere around here, the main terminals. I wanted this to feel really like an actual airport as best we can. So I want to have plenty of room for that. You know, probably going to have the enter section over here and the exit coming out this direction with all the traffic splitting. Going to have some pickup, drop-off zones, and of course the commercial bus dedicated lanes as well. So all that stuff's going to happen in this area, and then I'll come back again and build the city out to match that. So I'm not going to try and build the city out more just because I want to have plenty of room to work with in case we need more room. So that's the plan. And then of course we'll come back and actually start fixing our budget. But as you guys may know, a lot of that just comes from having so many of these custom buildings, which unfortunately is just, yeah, that's been a problem, but that's okay. We can always disable them if we need to, but I think that for now anyway, we're all right. We don't need to worry about that too much. What is this? Oh, the Hydro-Quebec building. We already have that. So let's go ahead and find the new ones that I just got. I think this is new. The IBM office? Wait, is it? No, it is not. Building already exists. That's what we're going to use for the actual airport, so not going to use that one. Yeah, I think all of these have already been used, actually. Did this last time. This is a new one that I'm going to use over by the airport as well. I think it'd be kind of a cool, like, terminal entrance slash, like, hotel that's actually on the airport. That's kind of a cool thing, I think. Apparently this requires something. Build the city of Dubai, UAE. The Burj Arab is regarded as the world's only 7-star hotel. Okay. Wait. Oh, construct airport. That's why. I was like, what? Okay, so this is going to go for the airport then. Amadeus Tower. I've already placed that. I think this is new, though. What? That looks not that good, actually. Well, I don't know. It just seems very narrow. You know what I mean? Like, for its height, it just seems kind of narrow. Yeah, I'm not really digging that. It just seems a little bit too narrow, especially at the base. I don't know. Just don't like it. Let's get rid of that. I got a lot of these, so we can always just try and see what we think of these, and if we don't like them, it's not a big deal. Ooh, this is new. This is the radar tower for the airport. That's already been used. That's our library. Cool. Now what I really want actually is some sort of mod that would like gray out or darken buildings we've already placed. That would be like the most useful thing ever. Then I could just like not have to do this every single time I want to try and figure out what we haven't placed yet. But it's not a big deal. Oh, right. That's terrible. I don't want to use that one. This building is a different option that I might use kind of for the entry area of the airport. I want to use some cool kind of architectural buildings that look a little more unique, like this one. I don't know. I just like it. That seems like an airport hotel to me. So I'm going to use this near the airport as well. So maybe I just got a lot of airport models and I'm not really remembering a lot of skyscraper models. Ooh, this is new. What is this again? The Cobalt Tower edit. Okay, that's kind of cool. It's a little bit smaller, but that's good. We need some smaller buildings. In fact, this will fit right here, which is nice because we can, you know, utilize some more locations that are kind of back here by this thing. I also got a lot of these like super large parking lots. Let me see if I can find them. I think they're actually in here somewhere. All I know is they actually have thumbnails, apparently. Maybe they're not actually in this area here. Maybe they're in like unique buildings somewhere or something. Maybe we'll see them in a minute. We already have this, I think. Yep. And this. And all this stuff. Yes, we have all of these buildings already. Yes. What is this? Okay. Anyway, yeah, where are those parking lots then? I downloaded a bunch of parking lots. They should be around here somewhere. I don't really imagine them being here in the unique buildings section, but I don't know. I don't know where else they would be. Yeah, I've already used all these buildings, obviously. This is a cool one that I want to use later on, this like astronomical clock building. Probably for a small town kind of section because it looks a bit older, but I don't know. It's got some character to it. I kind of like it. Yeah, so I actually don't know where those parking lots are. I'll have to find those later on or something. Unless they're like... Yeah, see, they're not here. Which is where I'd expect them to be because he's got the barriers here, which are... well, yeah. The barriers are right there, and those are actually made by the same guy. They're not in monuments, obviously. I don't know if they'd be in monuments. Not in garbage or healthcare. I don't know why they'd be here either. Well, okay. Are they in, like, transport under buses? No. Whoa. New thumbnail for that one. That's cool. And this is the big train station. We're going to use in the next episode as well. Okay, well, whatever. I don't know why I can't find those. But I got a whole bunch of new parking garages. So, and not even just parking garages, but like big parking lots as well. Maybe he lied and they don't actually have thumbnails. It said like in the description though, it was like new with thumbnails, and then you can't find them because they don't have thumbnails or something. Anyway, I'll find them later. So cool. That's good to know that this thing is now working. We have functional transportation now in this direction. That's good to see. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling the roads out a bit more in this direction and start zoning more, because right now we have like a massive demand for residential, and I'd like to actually get this avenue kind of going towards this direction so we can start meeting it up with these roads. I want to actually have an avenue coming off of this road as kind of like the other side of the entrance to these neighborhoods, which will be filled out later on, by the way. And of course, I will eventually get to actually zoning this thing. At the moment, though, we have no real demand for this quite yet. I know we have a lot of office buildings we're going to get rid of later on to kind of balance that out, but that's another thing to do for another day, obviously. But we'll probably combine the avenue connection with this highway connection later on as well, which is pretty cool. So let's continue this. Right now, it's just kind of dead-ending here. I wanted it to be going underneath this. It may have to be an underpass because of the way this is working. In fact, it will have to be an underpass, but that's okay. I'll try and get it as close as possible to the highway before we go underneath it. So something like that, and then we'll go to, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and make this one actually turn a bit, I think, underneath the highway here. Just because I think it would be nice to have a different direction for this avenue coming out. And I think it'd be cool if it kind of met up with this one again at some point. So let's pull this thing back up again, if possible. There we go. Okay, so where can we go from here? Let's just start plotting out this part of the city. And again, I think doing things like this, you know, really gridding it out definitely makes for a good looking city whenever you start getting taller buildings and things in it as well. Just because these cities that have really tall buildings like this usually have really expansive portions of just kind of grid-like infrastructure going all around them. So that'll look nice. We can do that over here. Let's get a good amount of avenue going. And we can start also thinking about where we're going to have connections from the highway so we don't run into problems later on. Now, we may actually have to do something different with this. I don't know if we can... Let's see, where are... Okay, good. So we can probably actually get underneath this without having too many problems. That was my next kind of concern here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just create a little curve piece here as we approach this. And then we'll go underneath, like so, to about there, and then come up again, right about there. There we go. And I like this a lot. I kind of like how this is like a reverse little circle thing where like traffic's going in opposite directions. I think it's kind of cool. Alright, so we'll pull this thing out again. Let's see. Definitely an interesting design here for the downtown area. It's like a giant diamond shape almost. So we'll pull this out a bit. We'll pull this out a bit. Oh, wow, lots of... oh, I almost forgot. And I actually have the mod that gives us unlimited trees. I said that before, I think. But just in case, I'm going to go ahead and erase all these trees that are over top of our big mining facility so we don't accidentally start... I don't know. In case we have a problem later on with that mod or something, I'd like to just keep the tree waste down to a minimum if we can help it. And I might just do that over here as well, just to make sure that that's not a problem. Just fill all this stuff. I mean, we can always go back, obviously, and put trees down once we have this whole urban sprawl kind of figured out. But for now, we don't really need to have that. This is what I like to see, though. I love seeing heavy amounts of traffic and or heavy amounts of traffic load without actually having any traffic. So that's good to see. Okay. So, should we try and fit more things in this direction as well? I'm not really sure if I want to do that. I kind of think it'd be cool to have some highway branching off happening where we have it split this way and do a little round in this direction to connect to stuff over here. And I think our actual main connection here, or at least one of the main exits for the highway, is going to be a little split down here when we get closer to the edge. So I'll try and see if I can make that happen here in a minute. So what I like to do is I like to have a traffic split like we did before. So something kind of like this where it goes between two avenues. That would be an ideal situation. In fact, I think I'm going to have multiple avenues connecting to this entrance section if we can do that. So let's have this one come in like way out this way. And it's going to be locked on to this one. So it's going to go out this way and connect with this thing eventually. Awesome. And we'll draw this one out and connect it here. Alright, so I'm liking this infrastructure for the basic highway, or the basic avenues, I should say. Okay, that's good. Let's see, anything else that we need to do here for this? We probably should have, we want to have a split somewhere for an avenue that's going to come over here. In fact, why don't we draw that out now, just so we don't have problems later. I want it to be perpendicular with this thing. So let's take it out. Let's go here so we don't block any zoning. Actually, you know what? No. It doesn't need to be perpendicular with that. We'll just draw it out like this. Have it do some curving right around here. Like that. And then we're going to have it actually become this one, I think. If that's possible. Well, see, again, I don't want to be blocking too much of this grid action going on here. And if we start making some more different angled roads, that might make this difficult. But I think we can do it. I think we can actually plan around this road, no problem. So let's just go ahead and do it. Let's just make a big connection here. I think this would look really cool if we could pull this off, have a big curving section here. We need to go more like that, I think, actually. But I think this is going to be really cool for a city that's planned around this design. And we want to make sure this isn't the only avenue going this direction. So maybe like one more that's going to meet this way. I don't really know. We may have to make some adjustments here, but that's okay. Yeah, we may actually have this one curve and then go like this. In fact, I think I will do that, but we'll get to that later once we fill out this little section here. I think for now, though, I'm going to stop only because I'm going to go back in this direction here again and do the airport next before we start expanding in this direction. I just want to get a good rough idea of what I want to do with this, just so that at least for the initial split-offs for the highway, I want to make sure that we're not blocking locations we may need to use for those split-offs for this main part of the city when we're planning out the split-off to go to the airport down this way. Wow, we got some death waves going in here. I wonder what's up with that. Seems like our healthcare is pretty good. Yeah, capacity is massive. Our average health is pretty good. Maybe it's just like the coverage of the... Well, I don't know. Strange. Maybe we should have one more over here somewhere. Yeah, let's just put some... Like one more. I guess... Here? Wait, no. One more there. That's a good spot. Anyway, getting distracted. So, yeah, we'll come back. We'll do the airport next episode. That's going to be a pretty big undertaking. Probably going to take at least 2-3 episodes to actually work this thing out. I'll try to do kind of combinations of live and non-live portions. I'll also make a save of this thing, of course, so we can make sure that we don't do anything we don't like. So I'll make a backup, is what I mean to say. And then we'll get back to finishing off this highway thing and expanding the city on this direction. And that'll be fun. I'm excited to see what happens with that. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed this episode of City Skylines. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.